If you watch Minecraft on YouTube, there's a good chance you've seen a 100 Days Minecraft Hardcore series. And I would say that many people have attempted this challenge. I too have started my own Minecraft Hardcore world, but I quickly realized that I was lacking in three things: patience, skill, and the will to build incredibly giant farms. In addition to these three things, I have two problems with hardcore Minecraft. The first one being that the difficulty curve is negative, meaning that the longer you last, the greater chance you have to not die, meaning that you can survive like 1,000 days, with the first 100 days being very difficult and then progressively getting easier and easier. And also, there is no end. Like, the only way you can end a hardcore Minecraft world is to die. So I set out to find an alternative to hardcore Minecraft. The reason I chose a Kirby game is because you are not as likely to die in other 2D platformers because you can literally fly, and because, I don't know, they're fun. So to keep track of the quote-unquote days, I will be using the in-game collectible with your energy spheres, and every collected energy sphere will count as one quote-unquote day. In addition to keeping track of energy spheres, I'll be keeping track of how many ship parts I collect, which are dropped by the first 5 bosses after you defeat them. And each part will count as 16 days, and there's 5 parts in total, meaning that all 5 parts are worth 80 days, and there's 120 energy spheres and 80 days worth of parts, bringing up to an even 200.
So it's really not a lot to cover for early game, because it's early game and there's really not much of a challenge now. But the only thing worth covering is that in this game there are things that are essentially super abilities that are in certain levels and grant you insane powers, but only last for a certain amount of time and only for the rest of that level. And at the end of every quote-unquote superpower section, there is a portal that opens up which gets rid of all your copy abilities and sends you running through some kind of weird interdimensional thing. And at the end of every interdimensional portal thing, there's a boss you have to fight, and if you win, you get 2 energy spheres. Really, other than that, there's not much that the first world has to offer, other than some amazing boss fighting footage. World 1 had 13 energy spheres plus 1 ship part, bringing up my total quote-unquote day count to 29. And then move on to World 2, which is basically World 1 with desert. It's not hard, it's a Kirby game. It really doesn't get hard until, like, much later. But at least it's easy. And to top off World 2, we get to fight everyone's favorite Kirby boss, the Genie from Aladdin. After completing World 2, we now have 61 quote-unquote days, so now it's time to move on to World 3. And World 3 is just bad, because if you play games, you know that the worst types of levels are water levels. And World 3 is entirely made up of water levels. Needless to say, it was not fun to play or to watch. After suffering through 4 consecutive water levels, I finally got to face the boss of World 3, Pufferfish Rave. I then paused the game because I thought it would be funny. But I think it's more awkward than funny now. and I'm too lazy, so I'm just gonna leave the pause menu and enjoy. After beating World 3, I now have 97 quote unquote days, and now to World 4. I haven't been going to detail on each level because they take forever, and honestly, nothing happened that was exciting. It was just zooming through Kirby levels. But then World 4 came around, and don't ask me what I was thinking when I did that, or how I didn't die, because I don't know the answer to either. So that's it. Bye.